Our story is from user GThanks81. Am I the a-hole for going on strike and refusing to clean until my kids and husband step up to help? So, I'm 36 female. My husband is 38 male and we have been together 14 years. Our kids are 15 male, 14 female, and 11 male. Up until 2 years ago, my kids all had chores that they did daily, but of course with them getting older, it became more of a chore for myself when trying to get them to do anything to help me out, so I stopped asking. So, that's what makes me an a-hole, I think. Anyways, my husband hardly ever lifts a finger when it comes to housework. He doesn't cook, clean, or even take the trash out anymore. He used to all the time. So, I hit a breaking point one day when I came home after a weekend business trip with work to a completely in shambles house. There were dirty dishes scattered and placed in various corners of my home. Trash wasn't taken out, laundry was spewing over the top of our hamper, toothpaste lining the sink, etc. You get the point. I grabbed myself a nice tall glass of Crown Royal and went to my backyard, where I proceeded to sit and do nothing. My husband and kids returned home a few hours later, and I chuckled to myself as they stopped dead in the doorway, look at the mess and then back at me. My husband says, "Honey, I have my boss coming for dinner tonight. Did you forget?" So I said, "Nope, what are you making for dinner?" He just sort of looked at me, but I think he realized what was going on and went in to start cooking dinner. My daughter lost it. She's like, "How am I supposed to have my boyfriend come over to a house looking like this?" So I said, good question. Maybe you should cancel." My oldest son, bless his heart, said, "Melanie, we can easily clean the house. It's obvious that mom needs a break." He went in and cleaned the entire house, but not in time for my husband's boss to show up and see our home in disarray. My daughter's boyfriend also saw the house in shambles and looked disgusted. My daughter started crying and saying I embarrassed her and she will never forgive me. Am I the a-hole? I think maybe, because it was petty and bad timing, but I was tired of not being helped. That's the main story. Now let's read the top comments. Not the a-hole. Cleaning the house isn't as simple as bippity-boppity done. They knew people were coming over and you were gone all weekend. How is it fair for the one person who's been gone to come home and clean up after the other three who could have been keeping up on themselves? And cook for an important guest? You def need to have a chat with them about personal responsibility and self-awareness. At least Opie's husband and son seem to have grasped the issue and tried to do something. But I can't believe Opie's daughter's reaction. What a brat. Agreed. Maybe Opie should let her daughter know that if she thinks mommy is always the one cleaning up, then she will be the one doing it for her own household next time. Lol. But who raised an entitled brat? The parents did. Not the a-hole. Your husband's an A for not helping, and your kids are not gonna know how to keep up their own living space when they grow up and move out if they don't start now. Honestly, your husband and your daughter had it coming for expecting you to do all the work around the house. And son. Opie has 2 sons, so that should be and sons. But the person you're replying to likely only mentioned the husband and daughter because they were the 2 expecting company, but did nothing beforehand to make the house presentable. At least now, 4 of them will know that mom won't pick up the slack, and they will hopefully start pulling their weight, especially when they're expecting guests. Not the a-hole. However, do not be passive-aggressive. I was in a similar situation. My mom decided not to lift a finger. She told us specifically that she would not cook if we didn't clean the kitchen. We are a bunch of siblings. She would remove our privilege of internet access and TV until we clean our room and help out with chores. She was clear. She told us exactly what she expected from us. She then proceeded on not doing anything until we behaved, obeyed, and did our chores. We could tell that she was not going to do anything, and the dishes were piling up. She even only did the laundry for herself. She would not let anyone in her clean room. All this to say, you can go on strike, but do not be passive-aggressive about it. Lay down the law and let them know how it is going to be moving forward. Not the a-hole. I agree with this approach. Hey gang, things have gotten a little out of hand and one-sided, so corrective measures are needed by all of us. I'm going to step back a bit, and you all are going to step up a bit. Our next story is from user NotToday93. Am I the a-hole for not helping my sister-in-law clean up after my birthday barbecue? So, this happened last weekend. My sister-in-law of 8 years called me up and said that she was planning on throwing me a birthday barbecue. I was super excited because I haven't had anyone celebrate my birthday since I was 13. I'm now 28 female. She asked if I can come over and help her get her house ready for the barbecue and all that, and I happily agreed. So, I head over, and when I show up, her house is in complete disarray. My sister-in-law is far from a clean person, and just cleaning and tidying her place up alone took me nearly 5 hours, not including the yard work that needed to be done to ensure the place looked nice for the guests. She didn't help me clean it. She just kind of walked around and watched what I was doing, but I didn't say anything because she was throwing me a party after all, and I was grateful for that alone. Well, by the time I was done cleaning, it was around 8 p.m. My husband and 2 kids were due to show up the next morning. Sister-in-law then comes in and says, "Tomorrow we will go grocery shopping for supplies." I didn't think any of it, and the next morning we head out. Well, she loads $300, almost, worth of food onto the belt, and when the cashier said, "Cash or credit?" she looked at me and said, "What are you paying with?" I had no idea I was purchasing all the food, and it definitely irritated me because I felt entirely used at that point. I bought it anyways, and we head back to her place. Well, as it turns out, it was her cousin's anniversary, and that was the real motive behind the party. So 30 plus people show up, and I don't know anyone there. Everyone ignored me. At the end of it all, my sister-in-law says to everyone, "Make sure you wish Harper a happy birthday on your way out." There were a lot of "who is Harper?" questions. I felt humiliated and used, and about 20 minutes later, I packed up my husband and 2 children and left without saying goodbye or helping clean. I feel like a jackass for not helping with cleanup, but I was extremely upset. She called me about 2 hours later and says, "Gee, thanks for helping me clean up after the party. You guys helped trash the place just as much as everyone else." So I said, "Gee, thanks for coning me into purchasing $300 of food for your cousin's anniversary after lying and saying it was a birthday party for me." She then told me to get my head out of my butt and told me that I am an adult and to start acting like it because the world doesn't revolve around me. Am I the a-hole? Now for more info and then read the top comments. Never again raise a finger to do anything with her. I started that sentence with "never help her," but I realized you were coned to do that. If you can feel abused by attending your birthday party, I can't see what contact with her could ever feel worth it. Info: what does the husband think of this? I'd imagine he can't take her side on this. My husband is very upset with his sister, but tries keeping a neutral standpoint because she is the only person he has left. Why doesn't he celebrate your birthday? You said no one did it for years. Also, him being upset means jackrap if he is neutral about you being manipulated into cleaning her house and funding her party. His way of celebrating my birthday is by taking the day off from work, doing all the housework, cooking, and taking care of the kids so I can have a free day to myself. I'm okay with that. Not the a-hole. You clean up your sister-in-law's house and then bought the food for what you assumed was a party in your honor. Fun fact, if a party is in your honor, you don't clean up the venue or buy the food. Very clear, your sister-in-law used you. I'd never answer her calls again. I agree, she's a complete C. I hate that word, but nothing else really does the job here. You're kidding, right? Info: do you seriously think you're an a-hole after you just had $300 stolen from you? After you just cleaned someone else's house for 5 hours? Really? Do you honestly and truly think you might actually be the a-hole? I kind of feel like it just based off the fact that I had my 2 young kids there and they made a mess along with the other kids, so part of the cleanup was my responsibility. By that logic, everyone present at the party may be an a-hole because individually they all contributed to the mess too. And those are our stories for this video, folks. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.